Okay, artists, today we are going to start making Georgia Okeeffe flowers. Now, if you remember, Georgia Okeeffe liked to zoom in on her flowers that she would paint. So we're going to do something similar, except we're going to use tissue paper and paper. So to start with, you get your piece of paper, and you're going to write your name and your class code and flip it over. So whatever your class code may be. Now we need to first kind of lay out the lines for our flower. You're going to need a focal point for the flower. So if we're zoomed in, the center of my flower is here and the petals are coming out. And I picked mostly warm colors to kind of give this flowing feel of the petals. I have another one, which is what I'm going to recreate today. This is inspired by one of her pictures. And I'm going to use mostly cool colors. And you can see again the point of the flower is here. This is the center and it is coming from that. If you want to try something different, just talk to me. If you want to kind of create the center of your flower right in the middle here and it's coming out from there, that is totally fine too. We're going to be zooming in to the point where it's almost like a piece of abstract art. So I'm going to find the center of my flower is going to be down here at the bottom, but maybe I will do it slightly over to the side this time. I'm going to think of if there's a petal flowing up from that point, and this is the center of my flower. Where do these lines kind of flow from? So just kind of throw in some straight lines, some curvy lines starting at this point where they all come together at the bottom of the flower. Maybe I have some lines kind of coming off of this one up here. I'm going to keep it pretty simple. I don't want too many lines. It is hard to work with tissue paper. You're going to see there are strips of tissue paper. It's always best to start with your lightest color. So if I'm doing something similar to this, I would start with my white tissue paper first. You can see as I work, I kind of wanted the color to smear into this, but when tissue paper gets wet, it starts to kind of bleed or run that color into the other colors. So it's better to start light and then add your darker colors on top. So to start with, I'm going to take a strip of white, and this will be kind of hard to see at first on the white paper, but you're going to see I'm twisting the point. If you ever get to a spot where it needs to be at a point, it is very hard to get tissue paper to fold. So I twist to start, and I can even, wherever I want this to go, and I've been using this glue already, so you can see it's kind of muddy and dirty, but that's okay. I'm okay with that because I want my colors to kind of blend and smooth. If you remember Georgia Okeeffe's colors, they were very simple, but they also blended a lot. So I'm okay if this white gets a little, another color kind of in it. So I'm going to kind of twist and put it down at this point here to make sure it's secure. And then I want to shape around. I don't want it to be this straight stick of paper. So where my pencil lines are, I'm going to kind of twist and curve. I might even twist it up towards the top. It doesn't have to be perfect with my pencil lines. In fact, as I get to the top, I'm going to twist up here. It's just roughly following that edge. The rest of it, I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to paint. So I have this watered down glue and I'm going to take my brush and paint it. You can see that there are some pieces sticking up. I don't want that, so I'm going to put a little glue there and then on top, and it should kind of seal it in. I want this to show a lot of texture, so it is okay if it is bumpy and there's chunks. It will kind of, by the end, it will be very chunky with a lot of tissue paper. So in the beginning, it's going to be messy, and you kind of just have to be okay with that. This is a very messy project. So once you know that, just dig in and have some fun. That's what it's all about in the art room, getting a little bit messy. All right, so I'd want to add another layer of white, so I would get some more glue. So you can see I have glue in this cup here. And I'm going to layer it down. You do want to be careful with your hands if they are dirty. You might want to wash them in between, especially if you're about to drop like a nice bright yellow in and you've just been working with a darker color, even though we should do our light ones first, then you might want to clean your hands. You can see I was doing a red project before this and it's starting to come onto my tissue paper. Again, I twist the bottom to create a point. so that I can kind of tuck it in over here. And then if this is kind of bunched up, I'm okay with that. But I'm trying to fill up this area, and when I get towards the top, I kind of smush it down, I want to twist again. So I'm going to twist and put some glue on top. Now, we're putting the bottom layer on first. And there's a point where you might want to add some other colors in. So if I wanted like seeds, I wouldn't do that yet, but just to show you, I might decide I want to drop in some seeds. I could tear some of the tissue paper and kind of wad it up and put it on here. It's already wet from glue, so I can kind of just set that on there. And then I would get my brush and put the glue over, and you can see it kind of makes a new color. I kind of like that color. I might use it and kind of spread it, almost like I'm painting the white with it. I'm going to add some more seeds. So I'm going to wad this up, drop it on. This again would be something you do towards the end. But I just wanted to give you an idea of what that would look like. If there's any tissue paper up, we are going to smooth that down. All right, so I need or want a dark color right here. Maybe I will put one of these strips to kind of match those seeds. So you have to kind of think about the colors that you're choosing. So I'm going to twist, get some glue, and they're all going to need to be twisted here where they're converging or coming together right at the bottom of this flower. And I need to put glue all along here, and especially the first day, this is going to be messy. And we're going to be mixing some colors. I can always put another layer of tissue paper on top if there's a spot I don't like. All right, so I'm getting this all filled in with glue, and you can see now why I want kind of big areas when I draw it. I just want a general idea, and I kind of want it to go along this curve, but we have a straight line trying to follow a curve line. So how do we do that? So as it curves, and now it needs to curve back the other way, I'm going to need to fold it maybe, or bunch it up and kind of put it in its place. And I have to be very careful now because look, I'm covered in green, this kind of dark green. I don't want to get in here unless I purposely want that color dropped in there, like I did here where I purposely smeared it. So it's okay if it mixes a bit, if that's what you want it to do. But if you don't want that to happen, then you need to be careful with where your fingers touch. All right, I kind of like that this edge might turn like a little bit of a bluish green. So I'm going to kind of smooth glue right over this and brush it into the white. Kind of like that color's being added. All right, and I would just keep building up from here. So I think it would be nice to contrast this dark color with a light green. So you do want to think of your color choices for your flower. So now I'm going to do the rest of this strip here. And I have a feeling it's going to mix with the darker color since I'm putting a light color after a dark color, which I advise to do the light colors first. But sometimes, as long as you're open to it, it's kind of fun to see the colors that they make. So you can see how this green is going on top of my dark green, and I don't want that to happen, so I'm going to fold it a bit. So you really have to kind of play around with it and kind of maneuver. We're collaging with tissue paper, so we're overlapping, we are gluing it down. We want to make sure that it's where we want it to go. We want to be in control of our tissue paper. All right, now you can see this area that I'm doing as I get glue on it and kind of secure it in place. There's a chunk here I wasn't able to get. So if you're like, well, when I fold it to follow that curve, there's parts I can't get when I do that then. So this went into this section here. Okay. Before I deal with that, I want to make sure that this is secure. And then I may choose, if I can't find another color for that, I could find this color tissue paper and add it in. But I think it'd be kind of nice to have like a little strip of a different green, maybe a close color. So I'm going to do the twist to start it, kind of lay it in this little wedge. Now you notice I have all this tissue paper hanging off the edge. That is okay. Don't worry about it. When you get done, this project will have tissue paper all along the edge. We're going to cut that when it's dry on another day. So you're going to continue to build this up. When you get all done for today, and this might be as far as you get, you're going to put it on the drying rack, okay, and clean up your area because you may have glue all over. Put your brush in the sink. The next time you come back, you're going to keep building it up, and eventually you may add seeds into your flower or spots. Some petals have spots, maybe extra stripes somewhere. So we're going to add details on top. When it is all done, we will be cutting the edge of our art. Have fun.